Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Assalamualaikum.
We are about to get started here in 2 minutes. We're going to take some time to start adding people. So, yes.
Hmm. Facebook's playing with us right now. You set audience to public. Anyone can see your live video. It's adding.
Adding.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm well. Pardon me and my technical difficulties.
No, you are fine. Let me get this. We're so happy to have you on.
Yes, ma'am. It's good to meet you.
Yes, ma'am. Nice to meet you too. I'm Sister Alex.
I'm Octavier&alexzueah.
Yes, ma'am. And so if you hear a baby in the background, it's our daughter. She's just there. That's all. All right, so let's get started. So we have a few questions for you today. We're not going to be long, but we just wanted to ask you about how you discovered the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and a few questions about your farming business. So, so the first question that we would like to ask you is, what was your life like before you found the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I have a bit of a delay, so I hear the question and then echo. So if I'm awkward, that's why. I wonder if it's because I have the app open or something. I'm not really sure. It's confusing me.
Okay, it's fine.
I don't.
So did you hear the question? Because it was probably.
Oh, she heard it.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it. So my life before the teachings was just full of a lot of personal struggles and troubles, because I wasn't raised with intention. You know, I was just a child in America, an only child that was sort of hands off. My family didn't really have a plan for me necessarily. So I did always have a lot of time for observation, questioning, and that type of thing. So when I came across the teachings, it was actually through a piece of propaganda that was put out. It was a VHS video called Black Hitler, and it was a debate between Dr. Khalid Muhammad and Anthony Hilder, who was the man who edited like the 3-hour-long debate and put it out as a 45-minute hit piece against Dr. Khalid Muhammad to make him look like a raging lunatic who shouldn't be listened to, this dangerous man. But for me, it hit different because I just thought, I've never heard anybody talk like this in my entire life. And what's he talking about? He's really articulate. How is this a whole body of knowledge that nobody's even like, let me know about? Like, how did this happen? I spent a lot of time in the library as a child with my mother. So I felt like, I wasn't in higher education, but I felt educated. I felt like I knew what the like waters of knowledge were, even though I wasn't in them necessarily. I knew about them. And I thought, he's talking about something that I've never even heard of. And so I pulled up because that kind of stuff really interests me. I like not hidden, but like, for, uncommon truth or different thought. That always was something that I was tuned into. So it wasn't an overnight, transformation or anything like that. It was actually quite confusing, but I knew I had to stay with it.
Wow. So you discovered the teachings through a VHS, a propaganda VHS. Wow.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
Well, it says every boost.
It's true. So what resonated with you most about the teachings when you discovered it?
Well, so my husband had friends, who were 5%ers. So I had seen a picture of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I had seen pictures of Master Muhammad on the wall, but I was too shy to really engage in having a conversation about what their way of life was. So for me, it was, it was like it was a quick cliff notes of, um, how to approach the subject, because I think one of the things that I observe a lot of Caucasians online doing when they first, to be pointing fingers and being like, well, I, blah, blah, blah. So it really put me in my place of like, um, nobody ever interacted with me personally as if I was in a debate with Dr. Khalid Muhammad, but I always acted as if I could get that response. Like this is nothing to play with, basically. Like it framed it of like, don't even, if you want to ask, you need to come correctly, because this is the depth of intellectual firepower that can be tapped. So know what you're getting into, so it helped me have proper conversations, and taught me how to learn to ask questions, and to come from real humility of absolutely knowing nothing and not actually having any position or authority to speak on anything, like I just had to be receptive. So, and then my husband's friends were very, they were righteous people, so they were very kind and, would talk to me and everything. So I think that answers the question. Sorry, the echo is throwing me off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We understand like the technical difficulties and all of that. So, with that follow-up question, I want to ask you, how long have you been studying, and what really sticks out for you personally with the teachings? So, what topics of the teachings really like stick with you?
So that was like the winter of 1998 that I got that DVD or the VHS tape given to us. But studying, honestly, this last, 2 years have been a much greater depth of study than I've ever done. And I was reflecting recently how I knew of the teachings and I read them. But as far as actually studying, I feel like it's only been 2 years that because you don't know what you don't know, and then it's hard. My children have all gotten older. I have 6 children, including a set of twins, and so for me, it was like very difficult to study. I would frequently get hit in the face by the book that I was trying to read at night because I just didn't have a study group, or I would just nod out as soon as I tried to study. I mean, I had read the books of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and but truly studying, like being permitted to be in study group. I'm permitted to attend the UK study groups live, and so truly studying, I would say, a year. I feel like a newborn again. Like just, oh my goodness, I was such a a fool, like to think that yeah, it's like that spiral of knowledge where like you feel like you've gained something for a minute and then you're right back at the beginning, like, oh. And so some of the language that when I would ask the gods, I would say, well, what is this about? And they would be like, well, knowledge of self, so it's taken me, I feel like, over 20 years to actually understand the meaning of each word in that sentence. I didn't think it would take so long. I thought, oh, you could just tell me the meaning of life and what this is all about. And, it was like, oh, okay. So I had to be unmade, like in my, deconstructed. So then I feel like slowly the pieces are, being put back together again. And what most appealed to me was I just felt like somebody had to have a plan. Like everything you investigate now is such a mess. right? Like the water is poison, the food is poison, the education is awful, the this, the that, you know. So I just felt like, is there no source of knowledge that's reputable, that's trustworthy, that cares, that isn't trying to kill everybody and profit off everyone? So for me, the authority to be an authority was the most appealing thing of the teachings. And I just felt like my rebellious self, who is so rebellious, I could finally have something worthy of submitting to, and I just didn't have to think it was going to come from me anymore. You know, like I could just be taught. It was the first time I trusted someone to really teach me. So.
Wow. That shows a lot of humility from you. Just really, you know, actually studying for yourself, because most people don't study for themselves. They just kind of listen to the propaganda and go off of what the media is telling them. So, it's a blessing. Our next question, she kind of just answered it. What you think? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how does your farming business tie into the teachings?
Well, the farm, I feel like, was a divine isolation assignment, kind of like much like how everyone had to go into their chambers for COVID. It was like, if you really want to study this, I'm going to put you out near nobody and you're going to have to go through it. So the farm has been a trial for me. It's been like, there's nobody near here. You know, so it brought up it's kind of like what the Caucasian is to the original family, the farming experience was to this Caucasian. So it brought up every ugly, you know, unrighteous, like wicked tendency in me for me to really look at and be like, yeah, this is 100% about you. I was thinking the other day how in a lot of interviews and stuff, nobody's ever asked me like, you know, what made, well, I mean, you kind of asked me, but it about myself and the teachings. Like, what was it about the teachings that made you want to say? It was like, because I recognized that when Dr. Khalid Muhammad was like, the white man is the devil, that I was like, thanks for letting me know. Like, now I can get started, because I always was like, you know, just getting in trouble for not being this or not being that I just thought like, well, I don't actually know how to be, you know, like a good person. Like it wasn't something that just came naturally to me as a child. Like and nobody ever instructed me. They reprimanded me. So yeah, like why the teachings attracted me was just because I knew that I had to clean up, even despite the fact that I was kind of very outside of society already. You know, like I had a home birth, I was homeschooling, you know, I was already kind of outside of the fray. I wasn't interested in the the status quo. Like that was not appealing to me. But I, you know, was just still, I knew that I had deficiencies and stuff. So the farm was really a part of like, this is 100% about you and up to you to apply to change. Like if you're really sincere. So the farm was I feel like the litmus test of like, how much do you truly care? How much can you endure? So yes.
Yeah. What would you tell other Caucasian people who are scared to step out and defend the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? What would you tell them to help them?
I'm sorry, I missed the verb. What would you tell Caucasians to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
What would you tell other Caucasian people that are scared to step out and help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
I would say that, you know, that it is whatever change and shift and thing that you're hoping in life, unless you confront that cowardice, like your life is not gonna transform. So like this thing that you think you have to hide, that like, oh, the world will turn on you, people this and that, that's actually the opposite. It's inverted. That's like a very, very serious trick of the devil, because there's nothing you can protect. Like, I think about this a lot. Like, so if you love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and you bear witness to what he's teaching, don't skip the Revelations part. Don't skip the book of Revelations. Don't skip him teaching that, because if you think you're protecting something within a world that God himself has come to judge with the highest technology known to man to enforce his will, there's nothing. It's an illusion. It's inverted. There's nothing to, like, you have no power over anything. So your fear, your cowardiceness, it's robbing you of the greatest blessing that lies beyond that fear. So
That's powerful. Yes. You got that. So, Chloe, we want to know like more about your business and your courses on homeopathy. And can you explain to us as well, what is homeopathy?
yes, ma'am. So yeah, homeopathy is a system of medicine that was dominant in Europe and early Americas, and they call it an alternative system of medicine, but in America it was actually the original dominant system of medicine. All the original medical institutions were homeopathic institutions. So it is a way of using diluted substances to help the body come back to balance, because illness and disease, it's all, the body is always seeking balance. So it's just it's a completely different system of looking at health and medicine. And so I teach real beginner level classes. One of the things I spent November doing was putting out a visual crash course called Show Me Homeopathy, because I felt like the home in homeopathy is confusing, because it's actually a Greek word meaning same, like homeo, same, not home remedies. And so that confusion really benefits big pharma, because homeopathy is the cream of the natural solutions crop that I've come across. Like, it, for less money, in quicker time, it really brings the body back to balance. And I know it's way cheaper than essential oils and elderberry syrup, and not that some of those things don't still have a place, but I was blown away by how long I slept in homeopathy. So I felt led to make it really plain. So I spent November making this free crash course where I just take you visually through all the weird vocabulary that's associated with homeopathy, because it's kind of hidden within this, it's not mysticism. That's the thing. It's like, it's not spooky. It's actually a deep science. And I feel like it's really in alignment with the teaching, but it's hidden, and it's often propaganda is so heavy against homeopathy. So pretty much everything that's blessed me deeply has a Wikipedia page up hating on it, and has has all kind of propaganda off against it. So anytime I see that, I pull up. I'm like, oh, this is something I should really investigate. So yeah, I teach classes, I lead study groups on it, and I'm going to be teaching for Hereafter Farms in their membership area, because Dr. Brother Ben X is one of the reasons why anybody ever heard from me. So I've been studying with him, and bringing my voice through his night school training and teaching. I'm in every possible class I could be in for the last couple years. So yeah, I'm going to be teaching at Hereafter Farms in their membership area, which I think is next year, January, I think it's going to open up. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
Wow.
So how long have you been studying homeo? I want to get it right. Homeopathy?
Yeah, homeopathy.
Homeopathy. Thank you.
So it's been about 10 years that I've been really trying to gain more understanding of the principles behind it. I've been using it ignorantly, you know, since I became a mother, kind of just like, well, it works. I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but I love this stuff. And I got great results. But then, you know, really wanting to have more ability to treat a wide range of things within my family and just remedy, you know, things. Because with so many children, it's like you get a lot of time to try to figure things out, right? Like you have to really. I mean, people were pretty healthy, but still, just like accidents and all kind of things that come up. Homeopathy has really been so different. You know, it's really changed my life and given me a great degree of ease. And so it's one of those things you can spend a lifetime, like the teaching, studying. You never really, you know, you don't have to get to the end of it ever. But yeah, I've been real serious about the last 6 years. I've been doing study groups and you know, realizing that it's better to study with other people, and then it forces me to study more if I'm teaching it. But I'm not like a doctor of homeopathy or anything. That's the really fascinating thing about homeopathy is like, you know, there's the professionals who take like the very tough cases, and you can, you know, seek out more professional help, which is wise to do in a variety of situations. But then lay people, homemakers like ourselves, like we're able to have a wide variety of remedies and handle things that come up, you know, that would land you in either a situation where the health of the individual is like cascading downward and you're in like one symptom after the other and then dangerous, so you can catch it like at the top before it gets, you know, just at home. And so naturally, you know, there's a lot of opposition to it because that impacts the profit square of the major economic power that's dominating our government and our world right now. So yeah, it's really empowering to do for self in a non-toxic way.
How can the people get involved with you?
So over at my website, farmercourtney.com, I have like I have the free crash course and just all the different things that I offerings that I have going on. I actually just got up a book list of 7 books that I wish I had known to read 20 years ago as a Caucasian who first came into the teachings. So I just put that up if any Caucasians are watching and they're curious of how to not have that same, I mean, maybe it's part of the process and unavoidable, but if you don't want to have that 20-year gap of ignorant mess that I went through, you could maybe like skip ahead and get the cheats, get the book list, accelerate your process.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you on. And for those of you who are watching, please head over to Farmer Courtney's Instagram. Can you share your social medias with us, please?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much Farmer Courtney on everything. I'm most, as you can see from the beginning, I'm not really on Facebook that much. I'm most reachable on Instagram, but it is Farmer Courtney on all the things like Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that. But I'm most on Instagram. So I find it hard to keep up with everything, but you can reach me.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Yes. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Have a great day.
Walaikum salam. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.